Queen, my name is SBF Dark. I'm coming at you live here from IPL to bring you the second half of this session of SOS. But of course, though, I'm not alone tonight, as I'm joined by a very good friend of mine here.
Hi, my name is Joe Kara, and I'm joining Dark for the second half of Swimmer Sync 213.
Oh, and I'm very excited to see this. I've been watching some of some of today's SOS on the offhand as I was eating, and it's been a very good showing up, by the way. But here to kick off this next round, we'll be starting things off with EventHorizon, who's been actually a relatively popular SOS attendee these past few ones, and can actually do a lot of good work here to get into the podium, but also Bobby Guling as well. Also has been doing a lot of good work. And this is what's in particular as well to do. Just really run away with their run, and I'm very excited to see this matchup, especially with what they're going to be playing on to kick things off.
Yeah, and that map is going to be Robo Rum and Splat Zones. So this is, I remember correctly, the Zones Only edition of SOS.
Mm-hmm.
And now Zones Ramen definitely brings out a lot of, in my opinion, at least some diverse comps. I feel in comparison to a lot of other Splat Zones maps, you do tend to see a lot of the same weapons, but I do think that the map itself lends to having much more diverse comps. I'm interested in seeing what each team brings to the table.
Yeah, Robo has always been one of my favorite maps overall. Yeah, I agree with a lot of that. Really, the only thing that does worry me with this map in particular is the fact that it can get a little bit lockout heavy. So I think that both these two teams need to be really mindful of that and how they play around that. But for the most part, yeah, a lot of different weapon comps can be used here and be brought out here, and so it's gonna be very interesting to see exactly what gets brought to the table here to kick off this next round.
Yeah. I'm gonna also look ahead to some of the other maps that they'll be playing on, which include zones on Mahi Mahi and zones on Hagglefish. Another big round of maps I feel are very neutral favored outside of Hagglefish, which I feel definitely tends to favor more backline oriented comps. But those two maps are coming up on eventually later in the set, not now.
Yeah, no, we are currently in a best of 3. So while we won't be guaranteed that Hagglefish market game, we will be seeing at the very least the Mahi Mahi zones. And Mahi zones kind of speaks for itself as to what you can really do on it. A lot of it revolves around the water level. And just trying to make sure you play before that point, or make sure you get a good setup. Make yourself to get yourself set up proper before the water level drops. But we can speak more on that once we get to that point. The main focus though is going to be Robo Ramen as we're waiting for our teams to ready up, get their strategies in, and just sort of get this next round going, get this next round started. Oh. I see. According to the voices in my head, thank you, Wings, for the information. Apparently, one of the players' own internet went out, so it seems like we might have a little bit of a longer delay here than normal. But you know what? It's fine. It happens. You know, what more can you do about that?
It's not an SOS if you don't have at least one on-stream DC.
I mean, it already happened in the last match. Like, we saw it.
Okay, yeah, it did happen in the last match, but also consider this. It could happen again.
Oh, yeah. No, it would not surprise me if we see yet another DC tonight here, folks. But whether that be player internet and ISP to blame, or whether that's Nintendo's own servers to blame, that's up for your own interpretation. I know my opinion of it, but that's not an opinion I shall speak up here today. But yeah, that happens. Internet goes out. What more can you do? But you know, we're just currently buying time as best we can as we wait for the final player to join on in.
Yeah, at the very least, I can speak somewhat on at least some of these teams. Some of the members of Bobby Guling, I think I've seen a few times. I know I've seen Mirage, and I think Draco also on some pickups here. And EventHorizon, however, I do know I have seen a lot. over time. I think I've definitely seen some roster changes overall, but a lot of the members are very recognizable here. 49ers, Sam, Bubbles, I know I've also seen playing SOS quite a bit.
Yeah, there's a lot of familiar faces around here, and this SOS specifically as well. Looking at the other side of the brackets here as we're waiting to see exactly how some of the other matches are going in this pseudo interim, right? We have Usagi Fan Club currently up 1 game against Turf Trauma. Usagi Fan Club, of a name I also I'm very familiar with from previous SOS editions. Fall Flop is also currently in the set here, but no, enough of that here, folks. We're now getting this next match started for you, folks. It's going to be Event Horizon versus Bobby Guling on Robo Ramen.
All right, both teams are getting started here. We see both bringing out a pencil. On the side of Event Horizon, we also see a wiper and an Octo Brush. Two weapons I know fill fairly similar roles here, but I think they can definitely work out together. Whereas on the side of Bobby Guling here, we see both, again, an S-Blast and a Mini Splatling, two weapons I would probably consider take very similar roles here, but kind of just help to work out in each team's favor.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see these team comps play out here. I am a little bit worried on Event Horizon's side here, but I don't know. We'll see exactly what they're cooking up here as they are pushed back a little bit here as Bobby Guling gets a good solid hold on the zone here. Looking to try and zone out Event Horizon as best they can so they can run away with some of those points here. The Ultra Stamp though is used to get a pick though, so Slushy looking to try and see if they can push up further to get a proper momentum set up. As 2 players down for Bobby Guling. Now Event Horizon has flipped the zone and now looking to try and lock them out.
Yeah, nice push in on Event Horizon. Weren't able to push in much further than that, but still able to push Bobby Guling back quite a bit and have now taken control here of the zone. We're just waiting. A stamp does come out on the side of Guling, not able to find anyone, but does able to push some of the members of Event Horizon back, as we see Bobby Guling taking the zone back over here against Event Horizon. We just kind of are remaining in a fairly neutral state after the start of this game.
Yeah, Crab Take now used to try and zone out Bobby Guling as best they can, but their hammer does counter that immediately with Killer Whale coming out as well. Specials being thrown out left and right from both of these sides. It's still a neck-and-neck race, and 1 point differential between these two teams right now, as both of these players are just fighting these random skirmishes all across the map. No one has a true solid hold on any portion of this map right now. Even though Event Horizon does run it with the lead, it wouldn't surprise me if Bobby Guling here throwing the Booyah Bomb. It can contest the zone and try and flip it in their own manners, but no, with one player still missing, Bobby Guling is struggling with this paint output from Event Horizon. They're slowly losing ground.
Bobby Guling here, I think they definitely do need some specials on their side in order to come back here, but Event Horizon taking the zone back and being able to control it for as far as they can. I mean, just look at this Crab Tank here. It didn't end up finding anyone, but it still at least pushed some of it back, as Bobby Guling ends up taking advantage of that crab and finding some space back with that Booyah Bomb. In order to start taking points off for their side.
Yeah, those penalty points are now importantly gone right now for Bobby Guling here. And Event Horizon, they're actually starting to get a bit staggered here, which could be detrimental to them, as this map, as I mentioned earlier, is a bit of a lockout-heavy map. So you got to be very mindful on your special rotations, on your player count, on what's currently going on. Because like that, in a blink of an eye, the large lead that Event Horizon had built up has slowly just dwindled away, and now Bobby Guling in this driver's seat right now in the lead, looking to try and get this momentum going and shutting down the Zipcaster as it goes in with only 10 ticks remaining and 2 players down, going down one by one from Event Horizon. Bobby Guling is able to take this game home with a clean run.
I think Bobby Guling played that very end of the game very well. They punished a lot of the specials coming out on the side of Event Horizon and were able to secure that last zone for the last ticks of the game very nicely. Overall, we'll hand it to them with their
Yeah, I agree with that. I really liked how Bobby Guling played around a lot of the structures that Event Horizon was throwing out at the end there, as a sort of desperation play to make sure they can reclaim control to keep themselves alive a little bit longer there. But no, keeping their cool, they're able to secure that first game here. And now we're moving on to round number 2. technically, well, yeah, of course, technically, but it is now match point for Bobby Guling. So that means Event Horizon has one more chance to try and fight to stay alive here before they are unfortunately kicked out from the remainder of this top bracket.
Yeah, and that match point could possibly go and happen on Splat Zone's Mahi Mahi, a map that I think definitely fits both of their both of the comps that we've seen from these teams a lot better, in my opinion, than Robo Ramen, but still, I think offers some interesting push and give for each game. I'm interested in seeing if anything gets swapped out, especially after seeing some of the weapons that maybe didn't get as much value as they otherwise would have. Ramen.
Yeah, a lot of I am also curious about if there might be any major change-ups here from either side, because Mahi Mahi plays a lot differently than Robo Ramen here, especially with the water level up, you have a lot less space, so it's really going to be up to a lot of skirmishing weapons to try and maintain control of areas, and it looks like we do see the regular brush switch on over to the Octo Brush over on Event Horizon side. And Bobby Guling, well, I don't remember their exact lineup from last time. I know there is a few, that mini is new at the very least. So interesting weapon picks here on out, but as both teams make a breakaway here from mid, Bobby Guling being the first players to go down, which means Event Horizon has the opportunity here to try and lock him out here early on.
Yeah, I think both of these comps are actually the same as last game, but it's going to be interesting to see how they play differently on this map. So we see here a Crab Tank comes out on the side of Event Horizon, is able to take one, able to help assist on another pick on the pencil, which is going to be very important as Event Horizon is starting to take a very early lead here and is actually is pushing back the members of Bobby Guling very close as we are fast approaching the water level drop.
Yeah, one thing I like to say about this map is that whoever gets the first solid hold on mid here and of the zone here can typically ride it out to the first 40 points where the water level drops, and that's exactly what happened to Event Horizon. They got themselves set up here in mid and were able to run away with these points, and now, even though the water level dropped and they're losing players left and right, they have a solid lead on their side. Bobby Guling used the extra space to their advantage to take a different approaches of angles for these attacks against Event Horizon, pick them off one by one, and now they're the ones in the driver's seats here, as Event Horizon has to be careful about dropping now, but a good crucial pick against the mini here could mean that Event Horizon could absolutely go start swinging here.
Yes, honestly, Event Horizon's comp is very well suited here for holding back S-Blast in order to help poke ledges. Mini Splatling again helping with paint support and Ultra Stamps, and Brush just being a very annoying weapon to have to take out here. As we see the Brush attempting a flank. is not going to commit to it, but is definitely still acting as a very large annoyance that is pushing Event Horizon to not be able to push as fast as possible.
Yeah,
they probably need to be.
Yeah, I mean, they're starting to run out of time now, too. Bubba Guling is 10 ticks away. Event Horizon just couldn't find the refooting after that initial loss here. And even though the zone is neutral, last efforts to try and go for the zone, but no, it is not enough. Bobby Guling able to set themselves up and just run away with this game with 100-0 hold here. An extraordinary display here from Bobby Guling. Not letting that initial shakeup from losing so many points early on really mess with their mental. They're able to just absolutely lock in and just knock out this game.
Yeah, honestly, I was very interested in seeing how both of these comps played on Mahi, and there's definitely a lot more changes in how they were actually able to approach, especially in comparison to Ramen, which definitely had a lot more of a close match. But I just think that given with the comp that Bobby Guling was running here, especially with how many weapons are just well suited to ledge trapping and being able to draw attention away, it definitely led to a very very one-sided game towards the end there. Though I will at least give Event Horizon a lot of credit, though. That was a very good initial first push and take control over the zone. Overall, though, that does end round 2 for Event Horizon and Bobby Guling.
Yeah, a good first game here on our block and second round done, meaning that we will be moving on to round number 3 here in just a moment. But once again, a quick congratulations, Bobby Golding, for their 2-0 over Event Horizon. Event Horizon, I know you guys typically do relatively well here, and of course making this on the bracket is something that you should still be proud of. But no, moving on now to our next round, already ready by the way.